What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Thursday Night Airbrush Down and Dirty Tricks. We're about a minute early, but just the timing worked out that way. So let's get things started and rocking and rolling. Let's see who we got on tonight. Let's make sure we hit the record button. We're going to record this. And let's see who we got. Let's see. We got a bunch of you guys over here on the YouTube. We got Aussie Pete, we got Beck Buxton, Jason Dixon. Over on Facebook, got a few of you. We got Mike Lacano, Dan Mayer, James Ray, Joshua Adam Wade, Marley Rollins. Thank you all for popping into Airbrush Down There Tricks Thursday night live feed. Been working on this project in lieu of Memorial Day weekend coming up this weekend. I want to do something along those lines, something that honored those who have served and done things for us. So I've turned this into a project. This is something I painted quite a few times on motorcycles, on tailgates, on trucks, on cars, murals, trailers. At some point in your artistic career, you are probably going to get asked to do, hold on a second, let me bring up my super source here. You are probably going to get asked to do the Iwo-Jima Memorial flag raising piece. I've done this quite a few times, like I said, and in all iterations. Sometimes it's just been silhouettes, sometimes it's been full render, sometimes it's been kind of halfway between, sometimes photorealistic, sometimes a little stylized. So, I've done this quite a few times, and finally, I put this together as an actual downloadable package that you can go to MackayFineArt.com, and you can download this whenever you want. I'll give you guys that link right here. So MackayFineArt.com, and if you use discount code HONOR for the rest of the weekend, you will get 25% off until Monday. So for anyone using it, go down and get yourself that file set, and I'm going to talk about what the file set includes a little bit throughout the video. It has quite a few things on it. It's the vector itself of this image in this format here. I'm going to just switch to a single cam here so you can see. So this is the famous image. This is not the flag from the actual image. What I did is I superimposed a larger flag, a more modern flag photograph onto this photograph just to make the flag a little bigger, because all the pictures of the flag was pretty much silhouetted out. It was very hard to see, and it was kind of like, it just wasn't really big. So I just decided to make this a little bit bigger, just to make it pop a little more. So this is the image, and you get this image, then want an image version of this called posterized, which is basically this image blocked out, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So that this is the vector. It's all vectored on the main characters themselves, the separations, and a lot of, looking at the silhouettes, a lot of times you only think there's 4 guys. There's actually 6 guys here. And I did have all their names in one of the older images, but there's actually 6 people here. So I separated out each person, and I just did the basic. I did the bulk, like hat, jacket, pants, hat, jacket, pants, a couple basically high-end markers, and the rest will be either freehand or paper cut and spray, however you choose to do it. And what I also did, and this is something I've done with the posterization, I did a file that's actually 4 masks. It's basically a multi-layer, that if you lay each one on top of each other, they will come out basically to this image here. If you look, I'll zoom in here, you can actually see basically how blocky it is. So each gray is a vector mask. You could actually, if you wanted to plot this 4 times, you could lay down the black, you could lay down the darker gray, the lighter gray, and then the white highlight. And you'd have the image that would look like that. And you could soften it as you want and go from there. And basically, they each line up on these square tabs. So, it's basically like a multi-layer stencil type, which if you want to use that, you can. Whoa, I just changed that to blue. We don't want to do that. Sorry about that. I don't know what just happened here. Oof. Let's leave that alone. Let's not do that again. Oh, the joys of doing live video. There we go. I was messing with the ISO by accident. So basically this file, like I said, is available right now on MackayPrt.com. And we're going to walk through the painting process of this, and the masking, and a little bit of everything. So we're going to show you a few tricks. So basically what I've done is I've broken this down into files. We're going to do this as, I don't think there's any way I'm pulling this off in a full 2-hour video. So I'm recording this. We're going to do part 1 tonight. Do part 1 next week, unless I find some time over the weekend, or maybe Monday on Memorial Day to do it. I'm not promising anything on that, but we'll see. And I'm recording it all, and I'll condense it down to a more concise, manage maybe hour and 20-minute how-to out of the 4 hours. But I want to take the time to do it with you guys, and kind of from start to finish. So what I have here is a 12 by 14 inch panel. This is a polymetal panel, so it's an aluminum panel, aluminum on both sides, and it's got a poly plastic core in the middle. I used to always use like 04 or 080 aluminum. That's actually gotten much more expensive, and the problem with it was always dented pretty easy, and the corners always got bent. The nice thing about this is it always stays. The corners don't get bent up. It's super easy to cut. You don't need any crazy cutters. You can literally score it with a razor blade and just snap it like glass. So it's really good. I find the best place to get this material is either coastairbrush.com. You can give them a call, or where I actually get it from, because the problem with panels is shipping weight and size gets to be a little tricky. So what I do is I buy these as a 4x8 sheet panel, and I just have them cut to 18 by 24 inch panels, and I cut them to sizes I want. You pay about $100 for a 4x8 panel, and you get about you get about 20 something 12 by 18 panels out of it. So it's really reasonable. It's the best deal around. I haven't found anything better than that. Even on Amazon, it tends to be way more expensive, again, by the time you ship it. So support your local metal shops, your sign suppliers, things like that. There's something in your state somewhere where you can either drive to, or a lot of times they'll deliver if you're a shop. You might have to order a couple sheets, but this stuff lasts forever. And you can usually get it with a black coating or a white coating, which makes it super easy. I do that quite a bit. That way I don't have to base coat black all the time or base coat white. Or if I'm doing a light color, it's easy to go over white. Or if I'm doing a flake job, it's super easy to go over black. So these are the panels I choose to get. All right. So what I did, I plotted out this file. So this is what's already cut and then been transfer taped. Then I'm going to apply this to board. I'm going to talk about how I apply it, and then how to see the lines, because sometimes the line cuts are a little difficult to see. So I'm kind of, like I said, I want to approach this as a full walkthrough how to, whether you were doing this on a panel, canvas. If you're doing canvas, I would recommend probably FBS Gold. FBS Gold works really super nice on canvas and rough surfaces, like wall murals, things like that. The blue I love for automotive because it really curves, which is why I did it with this. But sometimes it's hard to see the cut lines. I'm going to show you that. But this is what I've cut out. I said this is a 12 by 14 inch panel. And it's right here. Whoa. Whoa. And this is sized. Oh, and everyone say hi to Kaylee. Kaylee is back in the house tonight. It's been a while.
It really has.
I don't think she's been here in over a month. Slacker.
I had mono.
She had mono. Oh, we'll let her slide.
And then I had to make up everything I missed with mono.
Yeah, she had to make up all her classes, and she had exams, and she had SAT. She had
I had an exam today and yesterday in the same class, 2-part exam. One was a practical, one was just basic exam.
Fun.
And the practical did not go well.
So I'll be receiving bad grade notification.
Yeah. And everyone went out and they were like, that was the worst thing I've ever done. No one ever does good on the practical exams to the point where he has to curve the grade so much that I probably would have failed the last one, but I got an 80. Well,
so we'll see what happens. All right, so basic way I apply, and I usually use the hinge technique. Now let's back up and talk about that. Basically, I get it centered, I size it to where I want it. It's sized to the board. I get it centered on the board. I put a hinge tape right across the middle, or somewhere, a third, 2/3, something like that. And I peel it back, and I just tear off this. Okay, that's gone. Now, I'm going to take my squeegee. I'm going to slowly work it on and apply it. I'm not really worried about air bubbles because this is not a permanent vinyl mask. A little air bubble like that ain't going to be a problem because it ain't staying there. It's just a mask. So once I get that side, and this part is key, super important, at this point, you pull the hinge. If you don't pull this, you're going to have a big piece of vinyl that's trapped in the middle here that the backing's still on it, but you don't want that. Calvin Jones, happy you're feeling better. Scott needed you. We needed you. Yep. There's some moments where when things go awry, it's much easier when you have someone in the room.
There's so much stuff to make.
Dana Shaver, how's it going, Dana? Thanks for popping in.
And I'm actually still working on making all of it up. Because there's just so much stuff and I just haven't had time. It's so busy because it's junior year.
Well, it's her junior year, end of the year. Yeah, it's been crazy. Okay, so now what I did is I folded that back, I pulled the backing out, and just worked that down. Now, all the images on here, and let's pull the transfer tape off. Make sure you get those edges. And while we're doing it, let's make sure we give thanks to all our sponsors and supporters of the channel. We got Fisheye Filter. We got Fisheye Filter, Water, Cratex Colors, FBS, and we're on our Vision Air system. Gary's in the house. How's it going, Gary? And, of course, that is all available at coastairbrush.com. Best place online to buy genuine airbrush equipment with the most knowledgeable staff in the industry. So make sure you pop over to coastairbrush.com for all your needs. That's where I get everything. Whoops, I pulled a little. See, I'm talking. I pulled a little too fast. Not a big deal. I'm going to lay that mask down. I'm not too worried. This is just where the rubble and debris is. We can handle that. So this file is online. It is available right now. It's a $20 file. There is a 25% discount this weekend only. For anyone watching this, I don't know about it. And that is code HONOR. Hey, John Mackay is in the house. Hi, brother John. I'm just going to put a little piece of tape over that. Okay, so right now you're probably going, I don't see anything. You don't see any cuts. You don't see any files. I'm going to switch off to just one solid cam. So I'm going to show you guys a little trick here. And we've done it before with paint. I've done it with a few other things. But this is a nice way to do it. Charcoal. Okay? Don't dump this. It's not pretty. A little bit of charcoal on a paper towel. And just rub that in slowly. This usually works best once you've applied it to a surface. Now look at that. Now you can see your cuts really, really well. It basically just fills in all those cuts. And because it's not paint, it's not leaving any standing behind. So yeah, just use some powdered charcoal.
Michael McClung said, how's everybody been doing with the pollen?
Man, pollen's been horrible, man.
Oh, so bad.
Like it's been brutal. It's been brutal. And I'm not happy with it. Not at all. I think if you saw a feed a few weeks ago, I was like coughing the whole thing. Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Someone also asked, will this be color or monochromatic?
So I'm going to do this monochromatic. I'll talk about the colors in a second, what I'm doing. So Bill Sniggins over on Facebook says, can't get the volume going up.
I checked the volume. It should be.
Volume signals are peaking over here.
It's probably on your end.
So you might have to check on your end or in the Facebook app or something's probably doing it.
Make sure
Anyone else on YouTube having issues? Anyone else on Facebook having a volume issue?
Make sure you're not like connected to headphones and the headphones are up really high because I've done that before.
Oh yeah.
And it sounds like it's just really low volume on your phone, but it's just actually very, very loud on headphones nearby.
Don't know, Bill. If anyone else having the issue, please let me know. But right now, I am seeing. Actually, I had to tone it down a little bit because I'm in the red in some areas. Okay.
Volume's good on YouTube.
Volume's good on YouTube. Okay. Thanks, Gary. All right. So we got our multi-view here. Let's go back out. I love having this new cameras where I can zoom in without anything showing up. See, Kaylee? Look, I can zoom in and out. Whee. No problem. Michael Cohen, what's going on, man? All right. So, I'm going to start simple tonight because I know I'm not going to finish this. So, I'm going to start with the flag, and that's going to show you the colors I'm using. And we're going to work our way down here. I'm going to pick some of the background because I'm on a white surface here. When I'm on a white surface or a light color surface, I work from dark to light, okay? So I'm going to start my darkest colors, and I'm going to pick these sections and spray the backgrounds as almost dark as possible because they're pretty much never going to go lighter. So John is saying that Facebook sound is low, but YouTube is normal.
That's strange.
So that's really, really strange.
Let me see if I can.
Gary Fantasia. Hey, Gary and Harris. Are you guys having volume issues on Facebook? Because YouTube is fine. I wonder if there's something. Oh, go into the sound settings. See if it's still using Blackmagic. Nope. On Facebook.
Oh, I think it is.
It's using the Mac instead of the Blackmagic.
Where is that?
It's in the setup.
Yeah,
Songs and settings. I don't know. I think it's going. Oh, go back to broadcast.
Wait, we had it for a second.
Okay. Kaylee's gonna try to figure it out. And what she's gonna do is post the link and just get off Facebook. The video signal's gone off Facebook anyway.
Did it?
Oh, might be back on. See what it's doing, and just double.
Okay, it's good on Facebook now, but I can't go into the editor.
Basically, you got to go in and shut Blackmagic. This is the problem with doing both.
No.
If not, kill.
Post. There it is.
Okay.
I got it back open. It says waiting for camera. We might just have to.
If it's fun, just kill it.
And I can restart it.
And just restart it and select Blackmagic for camera, Blackmagic
yes,
for.
I don't think you can change it once you start.
Yeah, and then choose Blackmagic for audio.
I'm going to end Facebook and bring it back. Gary says he hears it fine, and Harris says he heard it fine.
I don't know.
I'm gonna close it, and then I will make a new one.
Sorry about that. Calvin Jones, thank you very much. I got no soundboard.
Oh, do you need me to kill?
No, I need I need the speakers on.
Oh!
Did you mute?
I did, because the audio... Sorry. I opened it and the audio from the video...
Calvin Jones, thank you very much. Let me give you a proper...
And now it won't let me end it.
Yay, thank you for that. All right. Even with Kaylee here, we got difficulties.
No, now it's not letting me end the video on Facebook. It's not letting me kill it.
Close the window. Just don't close.
What?
Just don't close YouTube.
No, I know, I didn't.
Okay. All right, restart it, and if it doesn't, whatever, Facebook, bye. It's always... Yeah, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Do you run Facebook on Google or Firefox?
Google. Yeah. All right. This is why we'll edit the full video for later. All right.
I'm working on getting the live set back up.
Okay, so now we got that going on. Let's talk about what we got here. So basically what I've got cut here.
It's still live.
Whatever. Just kill Facebook. I don't care anymore.
It's hard.
All right, so what I got here is this is one plotted. We have the whole flag. We have that, and like I said, we're going to work from background to foreground, working from what's dark to what's light, and go from there. So if you look at the reference image, you can see the flagpole is pretty much solid black. Okay, the blue of the flag is pretty much solid black. Now we're going to be doing this in like a dark green tone, like a moss green to almost moss green black. It's kind of sepia-ish tone. So this is going to be the darkest, which is going to be near black. We're going to pull this, and then like these guys, the two guys who are in the background, so your four foreground guys. There's two more. There's a guy right here. This is his leg. This is his hat, his helmet. And there's another guy right here. So this helmet here actually belongs with this arm up here, because he's going back, and there's another guy back here. So we're gonna start pulling the background and work from background to foreground, just to get some basic shading, and then we'll do some freehand and paper cut techniques and some racing techniques to do all the detail.
Okay, I got Facebook back up, so I'm just gonna go live now.
So Kaylee's getting Facebook back online for those who need Facebook, for those who can't figure out YouTube. So we'll see what happens there. Hope everyone else is doing great. All right. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the flag. I'm going to pull the star field, because that's super dark, because I can get that really dark, and then I can pull the stripes, and I can shade those, and if they get here, it just adds to the shading. So it can go darker, it's fine. John, what am I drinking? Tonight is just a little simple Maker's Mark. Cheers. Alright, so let's pull. And this is when you'll be able to really see the nice thing about FBS Blue Mask, on how well it cuts and peels. I'm just going to use my little pick tool here. Kaylee, let me know when that's back on.
Oh, Facebook? It should be now.
There we go. Alright, Facebook is back on. For those over on Facebook, thanks for popping in. We did some adjustments. Hopefully you guys can see everything and hear everything this time. So we'll see. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to do star field. I'm going to pull this out. And you can just see how nice and crisp the FBS Blue Mask picks, cuts, and weeds. Stuff cuts like butter. And weeds, look at that. It's just perfect. Actually, you could save it and put it back if you needed to. I don't need to, but that's what's so nice about the FBS Blue Mask. It just picks and weeds great. I'm not going to pick this whole rod yet. Even though that's going to be black, I'll do that the next step. Let's talk about color. Because I'm going to use two colors right here. I'm going to fire up my clips. I tried. Maker's is a little harsh. What's that?
Is it?
Yeah, Maker's is, it's okay. Maker's is like a mid-level ism. Hi, Mom. Mom's back on Facebook. Let me know how the sound is, Mom, if it's better. Maker's is kind of a mid-level. It's good. It's not great. It's like, but it's not expensive. I love Buffalo Trace. I love Rise, which I got a Whistle Pig. Another great bourbon, which is amazing. I was recommended by Dennis DiLorenzo from Createx, was Few, F-E-W. Really, really, really good. Okay, so the color I'm going to put in my clips. This is the main color we're going to use. This is a moss green. So it's moss green. I think I put a drop or two of black in it. And this is going to be my like mid-tone. And I'm going to look at my photo reference here, which you guys, when you do it, will have it. You can see the folds. You can. It's really hard to make out the picture just look at black shape. But there's all like folds and stuff in here. So, and the folds pull from this center point and kind of come down to here. And I'm just going to work those in slow. So this is almost like a mini flag tutorial first. Yeah, Michael, exactly. So, with Mr. Mendez, how we doing, buddy?
When is that an emoji?
I don't know. Must be something new. So, yeah, the FPS Blue Mask cuts so clean like butter, and it doesn't have any of those little hanging pieces to it. It's really, really, really nice. So if you look, I could keep going. I could almost do this whole painting with just one color, which is pretty much what I'm going to do. But I'm just going to use 2 airbrushes. I'm going to do one darker variant.
Sound is much better on YouTube.
Yeah, good.
Is the new one better? Because I changed. If you can check the new one.
Yeah, if you check it again, let me know, Gary. It should sound better now.
I changed the audio output or input, so it might sound better. So I just want if you could check that for me.
So look, this is just one color, and you see how much tone I got with it. So basically, my darker color of the moss green is the same color. I've just added a few drops of black to it, and actually a little bit of vial green. Make sure this brush is working really nice. And this first one was done with just my Iwata Eclipse Takumi. Yeah, he said still worse over there. So that's going to be a Facebook compression thing because it's literally the same mics and the same output.
Yeah, but no, I changed the input to what you told me, to the Blackmagic from the MacBook. It was originally MacBook, but I changed it to Blackmagic.
That's what it should be.
And I did change it this time, but if it doesn't sound any better, then I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know either. Because it's a military piece, Gerald, and it's more of a sepia as opposed to black and white.
It's olive.
It's more of an olive color.
Which is still technically green, but it's not gross as gross green.
YouTube new chat box is killing this experience on my phone.
There's a new
I don't know, man.
on YouTube?
You could probably change the settings on it. I'm not too sure. Okay, so same color. This was the moss green, and then I've just added some black to it because this is kind of going to be our darkest tone. So it'll almost go near black, but it'll have that kind of old kind of green sepia kind of tone to it, which is what I wanted. There we go. So it just looks a little dark, but it's nice. Thank you for popping in from Western Australia. Thank you, Graham. Appreciate it.
Jim on Facebook did say we're sounding better now.
Okay, so Jim says we're sounding better than before, so it is what it is.
Maybe it's just multiple, Facebook for some people isn't working right, and for some people
Yeah, they might have a weird compression on it. So, that's done. Now we need to pull the stripes, okay? So we've done the star field. Now we do the stripes, and look at your photo reference. It's always what's called blood in, blood out, which is you have your dark stripes, well, your red on the bottom, red on the top, stripes of blood in, blood out, which is what it symbolizes.
I just had a thought. I'm just wondering, Is there a difference between the audio on Facebook if you're on a computer versus a phone?
There could be.
Because I want to see, for the people that have good audio on Facebook, what are you on? For the people that have bad audio, what are you on?
So
maybe that could be the difference.
It could be the phone. It could be a phone thing too. Yeah, Warlock says just check Facebook, no issues. Darren Martin, what's going on, man? Happy Thursday to you as well, my friend. Hey, Darren, I had to shut my pool heater off. It turned into complete ice because the air's too cold outside. Yeah. Like I sent Darren a picture of it. It's like encased in ice.
So Jim is on his computer, on his Mac.
Very strange. Don't know. All right. So now what I'm doing is I'm pulling the stripes. Okay. Now this is darker, and now anything I shade here, if it gets on here, it's just going to add to it, so it's all good. Pull them stripes.
Well, I should say it is now since it is quieter on Facebook compared to YouTube.
Yeah. It's got to be just a weird Facebook thing. I'm done talking about it. Bye, Facebook. You get what you get. That's why it's always better over here on YouTube. You like YouTube.
Oh, I can send a link.
Yeah, post a link up. Anyone over on Facebook side, you'll get a better sound. And the video quality is always better, because I think what Facebook does is just, it does some compression to make it a little easier on itself. Okay, so basically I'm going to look at my photos here. And I'm going to follow this. Oh, we got a bid. We are taking bids. We have a starting bid of $175. Never heard the phrase before, blood in, blood out. No, you never heard that? Yeah. That was always, it's an older phrase. It's got some other meanings. But that was always a way to remember the flag, because the flag, the red symbolizes the blood spill and things like that. So, and the white's purity. But it's always blood in, blood out, blood on the top, blood on the bottom. So it frames it. Okay, so there's a couple here that when you look at the photo, I'm going to pull them after, because it's actually the same color stripe that's kind of doubled over. So we're just going to pull everything, and we'll leave these for a second, and we'll do this at the end. All right, we're taking that same color, going back to the original green, which is moss green.
So it is green.
Oh yeah, yes, moss green. And Gerald misses half the feeds when I'm painting in blues and purples and other colors.
He's never here when we're not painting green.
But for some reason, when we touch green, Gerald comes in. He's like, oh, it's green. So just basically what I'm doing is here, I'm not, and if I was painting red here, I would be doing the same thing. I would just be doing it tone and slowly bringing it up. And by doing this, you just do these nice soft dagger strokes. And these soft dagger strokes will kind of simulate the folds and ripples, and you get dark and light spots. And like right along this line is like the heavier fold, so that gets a lot darker.
Harris is now on YouTube.
Hey, Harris. And remember, when I pull the white, I'm going to go back over this and streak it again to put a little streak in the white stripes, and it's going to build on top of it. So you don't have to go to full dark here. Each layer is going to compound itself. Remember, when you use it as semi-transparent, that's the benefit to it. It'll compound itself onto each other, so you can work your way out of the masking. And that's kind of the way I started working years ago, was trying to work my way out of a painting when it comes to masking. That way, as I pull the mask, I'm slowly building the project and the tonal value and the kind of the scale, the gradient scale and grayscale. And then at the end, I will be able to just highlight and freehand and do things like that.
Jim Dasher asked, what vinyl cut are you using?
So I am using a Roland GX24, which is old. I think right now this plotter is about 14 14 years old, and it still cuts stars this small. So I can't say enough about Roland plotters, Roland DGA. They're just outstanding machines. So like I said, this is a 14-year-old plotter. All I've ever done was put a blade in it. There's lots of good ones in the market, and a lot of the off-brand ones, or like, you know, U.S. cut, they started to come a long way compared to where they were years ago too. But I can't speak to them as far as longevity. I just know that my Roland never fails. I'm sure one day I'm going to say that, the next day it's gonna fail on me. But it's old. It doesn't really owe me anything. So yeah, Roland. They have the new GS24. They have another newer one out, but I forget the name of it. They have like the 30-inch now. Caldecott Blood In, Blood Out, also an amazing movie. Some good airbrush scenes in that too. Actually, one of the few movies that actually did a decent job.
There's so many ones with bad ones.
I'm gonna do a video one day. I gotta get like another artist over here, like Leahy or someone.
Oh my god, quarter crew.
Yeah, Darren. Yeah, the whole circumference of the pool heaters just got caked in ice.
Oh, it didn't get that cold.
No, because it was the air was cold enough, and it was just condensing around it, so I had to shut it off for a little bit. No big. All right, so now I got that. This down here is also dark. I'm gonna hit you, and just kind of look at our photo reference. Oh, that stays white. Oops. Oops. Let me get you out. I'm going to put you back. That's a nice thing about vinyl. You can just put it back. Right here, a little bit there. We got a nice little fold over here. And that's kind of it. Gotta love how fast flags go with this method.
Yeah, it's actually very satisfying.
The key is a little bit of paint, and slowly build the tone and work your way out of it, like I said, and you end up with a very good looking flag with not a lot of pain. And as long as you don't over flood it, you don't really have to do much. Just looks like a nice flag. And I love showing flags with plotters because honestly, talked to a lot of custom painters. I know Rhino's mentioned it. I know one of the reasons I got a plotter was for flags. It was between flags and Celtic knots.
Darren said you make it look easy.
Well, 30-something years has something to do with it. So I'm now just picking out each flag. Now, back in the day, I was cutting these by hand, man. And so was every other custom painter. And then plotters came along, and you know, some guys want to poo-poo on them and be like, oh, do it by hand. Well, you know what? I used to do it by hand. I can do it by hand. But I also know how to plug it into a plotter and make it happen.
Oh, Darren since 1999.
Thank you, Darren! Yeah, the crowd goes wild! Thank you very much for those super chats. They help this process. And everyone, don't forget this file is available on mackayfineart.com. Kaylee can put that up on screen if she wants.
Sorry, I was yawning. I couldn't hear you.
The Mackay Fine Art link.
Okay. Oh,
I do have in the works, I have a flag vector already up. I have a single. I have a whole collection of flags coming up soon. Maybe I'll try to release that next week along with finishing this up. Of like a dozen or more flags in various positions.
There it is.
No, the cowbell kept giving me a problem. For some reason, the cowbell sound file kept locking it up. So I have no cowbell.
That should be the link. Oh, I thought you meant the link. I went looking for the notes.
Oh, cool, Squatch. Yeah. So like I've been doing them for a while. I've been vectoring a whole bunch of flags, and actually the cool thing about the initial set I did was probably about 6 months or so before he passed, Mike LaValle had sent me a whole series of pictures he took of a flag billowing, all the same flag billowing, and he's like, "Hey man, vector these up," you know. And it was for me to vector. He gave me the photos, and I was always going to give him the vectors for him to use as well. So I got to finish them up, and that's in memory of Mike. We'll have those for everyone. I can't earn your room and board. All right, so see, now we have dark. You know, well, so we have dark, we have darkest. Now I'm going to do another dark pass over the white area, but I'm going to follow what I've already done and be very strategic where I put this stuff. Basically, just to get the folds
Big
ironed up.
Said I tried to vector one and nearly drove to the top of a mountain just to throw my iPad off of it.
Oh my god, you're gonna hate what I'm about to tell you. Because I can vector a flag in probably about 15 to 20 minutes, and I just haven't finished a dozen or more flags because I'm a slacker. And I've shown people how to do it. That's going to be something I am working on. I've been saying it for the past year, a membership program. I'm going to do a membership program, like a monthly membership program, and those members, we're going to do like a monthly vector how-to, or aside from the paint, there'll be how-to paintings, but I want to do that for a lot of the tech side that people have the most trouble with, which when I do the videos online, they don't tend to get as much traction, so I want to do something that's more for you guys trying to learn it.
You could make a Patreon for it.
Yeah, so I can do it through here and I think I'm gonna
do a double.
Yeah, so I'm gonna either set up a Patreon or I'm gonna do it through here. I just gotta plan it out and get it set up, and basically we'll do those through Zoom. Well, so Big Squatch. So what I try to do is, I'm not saying it's simple to do, but I try to keep things light. Like, I don't want, it's not this big secret, like, hard thing. It's really, the key to making it look simple is working in very light layers. And most people's problems is they mix the paint too thick, so it comes out grainy. And they hammer the paint on too much too fast. Less is more. Remember this tip. Just a tip. You can always add more paint, but you can't take it away. It's very hard to take it away. We can, it's very hard. But if you start light layers and you build, it just, you have more room to correct a problem when it happens. Okay, so a couple things I do, and I've talked about it. I've talked about it quite a bit when I mix paint. And this is for solvent too. This isn't just what I have to do with water-based to make it work. I've done this with solvent for years as well. I think Gerald will tell you the same thing. Gerald's regimen for paint is like 10 times what mine is. Shoot, he actually cleans his gun after every use. I don't. When I mix the water-based paint, I mix it into a cup first. You know, I mix it into one of these. Okay? And then I reduce it, and I stir it, and I let it sit for a few minutes. Okay? I mean, I don't do it for every color, but all my main tones I'm going to be working with, I do. Let it sit for a second, and then I strain it either into the airbrush or I strain it into another one of these. That way, that helps acclimate the paint, it helps aerate the paint, and everything kind of coalesce together. And like I said, I do that with solvent too, especially solvent white.
Oh, Steve is here.
Mr. Leahy! What's going on, brother man? Thank you for popping in on this Thursday evening. And, you know, reduction is key, and just getting that subtlety is really the key to it. But you see what I'm doing? I'm just following along what I've already painted. Now I'm going to come along, I'm going to darken up some of these stars that are a little bit on the folded side. And that's it. I can come back here and I can keep adding this. I can do some erasing, like if I wanted to do some highlights. You know, I can go in and put some stitch highlights. Let me see if I can. Alright, we're going to get a little crazy.
Are you using a scraper?
No, I'm using my electric eraser.
If you're using a scraper, I just need to know in advance because it's very scritchy.
Okay, I want to try to zoom in here. Let's go to camera 2. We'll see how tight I can get this. How's that? How's that? How's that? All right. You see that pretty good? All right. So yeah, so if I want, now I can take an electric eraser here and I can start putting in some highlights. Or even I could even put little stitches. And I did this on a bike once. I did every stitch of the American flag. Basically, it's like, this is one of those pricing things. If you want to up the level of pricing, well, you got to up the level of detail. So look, now there's stitches.
Wait, does Gerald have 2 accounts?
I don't know.
It does, because he has Gerald Mendez Art Studio, and then Gerald Mendez.
Oh, possibly. Yeah, so you are totally right, my friend. Pre-reduced paint runs smoothly and easy. Exactly. You know, like Gerald's regiment is, like I said, we've talked about it. It's beautiful. Just getting it right. And what I found is obviously, you know, straining it's key. I think straining it on the water base is actually a little bit more important than solvent, but it makes a world of difference in solvent as well. Especially in the whites and like heavy pigmented colors. Now, if you don't have one of these, you can do this same technique with and put little stitches. And that might have to add to the bid price alone, because that value, every stitch is represented. But yeah, you can just take a razor blade and just put all those little cuts. And obviously it looks really like they're kind of bright at this point. But now if I go back in and just tone them down, they're not going to be as bad. Try to remove strain from your life. Oh, Steve. Steve. And that's it. Between all the BSing at the beginning, the flag is done. So I'm going to zoom back out. Look at that. And now I'm going to do is the flagpole itself. I'm going to go all the way down here because this is going to be the darkest part because it runs through the whole piece. I'm going to move that camera down.
But Scott doesn't have details like Gerald does.
Nobody has details like Gerald Mendez has details.
So it's you.
Yes.
This is the one side on the computer, painting digitally while you're painting.
Ah, nice. Have you gotten a chance to play with the newest Wacom Cintiq?
There's a new one?
Yeah, they just came out with a new one. I think I'm in due for an upgrade.
Can I have a look? I'm just kidding. This will not fit on my desk.
Can I? No, it won't fit on your desk. Because I still have the old 24-inch HD. Alright, so now I could have taken this out first because it is background. I'm just going to take a little bit of FBS gold.
I noticed the profile picture change for Gerald, and I was like, did he just change his profile picture, or was it like? And then I went to look back.
Gerald is sneaky.
Very.
Gerald's everywhere. All right. So now, this is the flagpole itself, which is pretty much black. We're still going to give it a full cylindrical shading. So I'm going to put the heavy shadow down the bottom. And you know what? We're going to use a little Trulers here just to make a quick edge. Now the bottom is dark. I'm going to hit the top. A little core shadowing and highlighting. But for the most part, it's going to be just solid black. So it's going to be really silhouetted into the background. But I don't want to go 100% like color because I want to be able to like just put a little bit of shadowing where the hands are, kind of raising the flagpole.
No, it's a very useful piece. Gerald said.
Okay, yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to see it in person. I think the last one. I think you have that one, the prior, which was the Pro. That was the last one I've used. I don't own it, but that was the last like newer type I ever played with was the Pro series. But so now the newest one's out, maybe I'll buy like the last one generation back, so to be a little bit more affordable. Because they're so expensive. Amazing equipment, but they do not give it away. I'm going to go through and just hit some dark shadows on these folds. While I'm thinking about it while I have this gun in my hand.
Are you sponsored by Cintiq?
I am not sponsored by Cintiq.
Okay.
I don't do enough digital to really get sponsorship. I do use it,
You don't
but
like
it's
digital content.
no. I would love to work with them more.
I love digital. That's what I mostly do. So.
Yeah. I actually, Kayla, you have the which Cintiq model is it?
Oh, I don't know, but it's
The smaller one. The Wacom 1.
Yeah.
I got Kaylee the little 13.5-inch Wacom 1.
It's great.
That thing's awesome. That's a great little device.
Yeah, no, I use it pretty often. I haven't gone. I mostly use my iPad. but that one's also great.
Oh yeah, Gerald, that mermaid grind piece is stunning. Kaylee, I'll have to show you the piece Gerald's working on. It's amazing.
Remember when I was in class early 2000s when I was using the first Cintiq? It definitely was a game changer.
So yes, I actually have the OG first gen tank of a Cintiq.
Was it the one that I was trying to use?
So
but
I still have it. It still works, and I still have all the. I actually still have all the pens and airbrushes for it, which was the gray one, which I think was I forget the designation, but it's the brick. It's the tank. That one still works. Then I have the second gen. That one broke. That's the black one. Might have been the third gen. And that one I still got kicking around, but it doesn't. The screen works, but it doesn't receive the pen. And then I finally scored a 24-inch HD, non-touch. But the ones I have now are just way beyond that. I definitely need to upgrade. But yeah, I still have the OG brick that works. Oh, they're all heavy. Even the new ones are heavy as sin.
Mine's not bad.
No, well, yours is, yeah.
Mine's little.
Yeah.
It's a little
the
bit.
Wacom ones are light, but the Cintiqs are heavy. The Cintiqs are heavy because they're still glass.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure, Gerald, the new Cintiqs are still glass textured matte screen like they've always been, right? Or they finally changed it. I always liked the fact that they were like a slightly textured glass screen because it felt like paper, which was always cool. All right, so that is step one. I've got Big Swatch. I got a Huey, and I have no idea how to use it. Or the Adobe product except the iPad. Yeah, well, I can show you a bunch of that stuff. We'll have to work on some of that. The Huey's a nice machine as well. They work really well. Okay. Now, we can finally get on to the gentleman. So, again, we're going to work background. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to these guys here. And I'm going to pull this mask off pretty quick, but I'm just going to shade as I go and just kind of build the tone. And then we'll start adding detail, and I'll actually use the paper cut and maybe some transfer images to get some of the detail work in there. But I can just kind of block everything out here and just register each character, and I think that's going to be, enough for session one. But like I said, my main goal here was I want to get the flag, and we'll try to get as much of these guys mapped out as possible. So when I look at the reference image, you look how dark everything is. I'm going to start working on these really super dark areas, just like I did the flag. I'm going to work from background to foreground and work my way up through the painting. Wow, that mermaid one's 7 feet long, huh? Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, Kaylee, I'll show that to you later. I'll go to Gerald's page and show it to you. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pick out this guy here. I want to work... I should have brought their name file up, because there's a file that has everyone's name on it. But if you look, so here's this gentleman here. And then there's another guy right back here. And I'm going to pull him out. Okay, so that's actually two guys you can't see. Alright? And we're going to work them in to this piece. It's funny because this guy's leg actually matches right back with this guy's leg. It's in the same position, which is why you don't see it right here in this opening. But we're going to work them. We could pull some other stuff here and there, but let's just kind of focus on these two gentlemen here since they're in the background and we don't really see them too much. And this is going to go in my mid-tone color, which is the green. Now, I'm going to hit a little bit more reduction in this, because I want it to be a little thinner And I might actually drop my pressure down a hair. And if we look, let's start with this leg. You can see this a little bit of fold right here. And if you really wanted to, I could, you know, you could cut all these basic dark shapes out and register them in so you know where they are. That's also an option to do. I'm going to do that to some of the other pieces when I get to more into these folds and stuff like that. But for these background guys, I think freehand's the way to go. You know, freehanding within the mask. Oh, actually, since this, I'm going to scratch that. I'm not going to use the green. I'm going to use the darker color, which is the one that's in my Eclipse, which is the moss green mixed with a little bit of black. And that's going to be through my Micron, because these guys are in the background, so I want to get them pretty dark pretty fast. So, and there's just some shading back in here and right against the pants. So basically right now I'm doing right here. Okay. Just a little bit of folds. A little bit of knee. Folding into the knee right here. Then pretty much go solid black down to here. A little bit of extra color, like a little bit of shading. And then you can see some little folds coming across the legs right here. So I'm going to register them in. And then we'll shade that. So that's going to go pretty much to black. Just work from the photo reference. You'll see it's a little bit of dark on the bottom. Some folds coming down from his jacket. And just slowly working that in. Let's see if we can switch out to top.
It is now 9 o'clock, just letting you know.
Not bad for the first hour. Now, by having the mask, you could just do everything freehand from here on out if you want, or a little. Well, we're going to use a few different techniques to transfer. A little bit of a work on the helmet here. And their helmets almost had like a camo fabric, sometimes stretched over it, because they were a steel. They were a heavy steel helmet back then. Now they're like a composite material, but back then they were heavy steel. And then some of them were just painted. Some of them had some heavier things, you know, like fabrics and canvas over them.
Warlock is heading out.
Warlock, thank you for popping in.
Also, because Warlock is now gone to do the bid updates.
So Kaylee will have to do the bid.
I will do them.
Kaylee will make sure the bid updates. We still have a bid, 175 from Gary Shees. This is going to be a two-parter. Like I said, this is not going to be a one-part. So bids will carry to the next one. I'm going back to that green because I got to have that green tone in there so everything kind of matches. And I want to do a little bit. I wanted to do a little bit right erasing, but I don't have my full eraser stick. So we have this. I want to brighten up kind of where this kneecap fold is. That helmet. Okay, now, if you look really close, this is the next area we're going to be doing. We're coming right into here. So there's just a little bit of light peeking through. The rest is all really just black. So I want to spray a little green in here, and then we're going to go to that dark color. And just kind of get him established. That little light beam is kind of right in between here and here. I'm just going to get this green tone in here. It's always better, stay in the same order, because when you put the green down, then the darker one works off it better than if you go the other way. So with some ripples in there. A little bit of light reflection going on here and here. But ultimately the rest of it is really just solid black. You don't really see this gentleman at all. So I'm going to tone him in there. And then we'll work on the arm of this guy in the front. This guy, the other guy in the back. Again, working background to foreground. Like I said, this file download is available on MackayFineArt.com. If you if you use code HONOR, it's 25% off. And that is until Monday. Yay, Kelly did it right this time.
It was sad.
She's a little rusty.
I'm tired.
Oh, we're all tired. Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but that's pretty much what's all that's there for that guy. But it'll set up the background nicely for the next step up. When I get to these more complex guys, then we'll start doing some of the either transferring some pencil line work or using some paper cut and spray technique just to kind of register everything in. Okay, so now one more day for the long weekend. Yes, sir.
I have a half day tomorrow.
Yeah, Kelly has a half day tomorrow, then she has her junior prom tomorrow night.
Yeah. I am not going to promenade because it's a super long walk outside.
Yeah, we never did promenade when we did them either.
It's a super long walk. All the girls walk in their heels outside, and you have to get there at 3:45. But promenade doesn't start until 4:30.
Yeah, no.
So I'm just not bothering. I'll go for senior prom, but junior prom I don't really see much of a need.
Alright, so now we're looking at this image here. You can see there's a little bit of delineation for like with the hands, but again, it's all still pretty dark. So you're just kind of doing shapes at this point. So you can tell that there's a little shadow behind there. And then in between each finger. And it kind of creates a knuckle. And then the fabric of the jacket sleeve is right here. And then the folds kind of come down. There's a lot of interpretation in this piece because the photo is not very... Chris Garcia, what's going on, brother? You know, the photo obviously is... I'll have more, maybe do some facts. Hey, Kaylee, look up online. When was the Iwo-Jima flag raising done? Like this famous scene.
1945, February 23rd.
So this photo was taken on February 23rd, 1945. So.
And the memorial was made, I believe, in 1954, which is very fun. Yeah, which is very fun because 45 and 54.
So to have this photo as it was taken from pretty far away, is pretty impressive anyway. So there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of interpretation because that's this gentleman's hand. But see how I just did? There's a little bit of dark shading here. That's the... It's casting a shadow down onto the knuckles. Now you have the sleeve here.
Steve's back.
Steve! But yeah, you see it's just very simple shapes here. And Steve's done a number of these. A lot of times when you get into these old photos, you don't have all the data to show. So a lot of it's interpretation and what you assume it's there, what you think is there, and you just kind of have to work from that. So like these knuckles, you know, I'm going to put a little highlight where I know they would be on that edge, and then we'll tone them back in. You know, understanding anatomy and light definitely helps in a situation like this because, you know, you can give it your best guess, but it's more of an educated guess. But from far away, you can actually kind of see that hand.
That was actually the second flag raised.
Oh, was that the second flag raised? Now the flag in this one is not the flag from the photo, just so we know. This was...
That's the memorial flag, right? Not the actual photo.
No, this flag, I superposed this flag from one of my flags onto this one.
Oh yeah, because the flag is kind of like wrinkled, very wrinkled in the original photo.
Yeah, it's almost in silhouette. Thank you, Gary, for that information.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so guys, that's really all you can see of them. And next week, when I do the next half, I'm going to make sure I pull the image up that has each gentleman's name. So as we're painting them, we can mention it.
Cool.
I think that'll be a cool.
That existed.
Yep.
And most of the photos back then were black and white.
Yeah, in the 40s, yeah, they weren't doing color photography.
They didn't have color.
Yep.
Or they might have had color, but they didn't use it.
But not during that. Not during like battle. Like they just didn't have that availability.
Yeah. Did they have videos?
Yep.
They did. No, yeah.
Yeah, there's a video. I think there's a video of this, or like a very grainy video. It's from a distance. I promise by next week I'll have some more content info. Yeah, so this is kind of, I'm not changing anything here. The only thing I did to make it bigger was a bigger flag. Just to make it my original painting version of it. So, but everything else, I'm not changing. And so I just wanted a bigger, more prominent flag to frame in the painting. This is actually one I used. This one, a similar one on the back of a tailgate I did a long time ago. All right. Pop over on Facebook. Anyone on Facebook? Facebook's pretty quiet per usual.
There are zero viewers.
There are 0 viewers on Facebook.
Jim left.
Jim left.
5 minutes ago.
And Chris came back over here. All right. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to work, sticking with background, foreground. I think I'm going to work from here, from this gentleman. And then from this one, because he's behind, and kind of work them in. Let's start here. And that'll probably be it for tonight, is this guy.
This is a Mackay Iwo-Jima version.
Yeah, basically. Alright, so if you look here, it's very dark. You don't see his face. I'm going to pull that out. And the jacket is overhanging to the pants. So we're going to pull that as well.
So there was one filmographer and one photographer present. I believe it was the film guy that never made it off Iwo-Jima.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think there was a story about the flag the guy was carrying at the time. Definitely had vid back there. Every time a fighter pilot or bomber pilot hit their gun triggers, cameras would come on and film what went down.
Oh. Yeah.
That's very smart, actually. I didn't know that. That is a very smart idea, though.
Okay, so let's see something. Let's see if we can utilize... Yeah, we're going to utilize our little paper cut here. So see how I have these dark shading... It kind of sets up where everything is. This is all roughly going to line up. So what Kaylee's going to do is right over there.
Yep.
Under that red metal panel.
Boy.
There's a cutting mat. Can you grab me that?
Yes. Oh, I love his little skull dude. His little skull magnet.
Yeah, those are done by
They're so cute.
Steve Dave.
It's tag.
So this is one way we can do it. Because I have all this data here where I can just cut these shapes. Michael Cohen.
$20.
Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, we don't have more cowbell, but we can definitely give you a big cheer.
Do you have the cha-ching sound? There it is.
There we go. Thank you guys for those super chats. Those really help. Very, very much so. Alright, so let's do this. So when you download this, I have this kind of multi-point stencil already done where I basically took the posterized image I did, which is this one here. And each dark shape I vectored and pulled out a vector for each color. So that's what I'm working on here. And I can actually cut these out. Or if you wanted to plot them out, you could actually plot like 4 stencils. They line up with these tick marks here, and you could do one of those. And I'm not big into these, but I like them for registration. You know, you could go in and get all your, tonal shading in you could plot and spray, plot and spray, plot and spray, and then just do all your shading and detail afterwards, and like smooth it all out. So I'm not going to do this for the whole thing. I just want to kind of show you this method. If you have trouble visualizing and working from the photo, this is a way to break it down. And the more you start doing this, the more you start understanding it. You can start to see it on your own without having to do this as much. You'll be able to block in these shapes. And if you follow Mr. Leahy on Mondays, he is the king of being able to cut little shapes and details and isolate these shapes into something. So if you really want to master or learn this process, then definitely check out Mr. Leahy's Monday feed, his Tuesday feed. I'm going to be starting a Tuesday feed as well, I think, and it's going to be Tabletop Tuesdays, which is going to be some of the gaming figures I'm starting to paint. We're going to give that a shot and see if that gets any attention. Now this one here is actually a lighter color, but I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to spray lighter up here. There's a seam in the paint. In the pants, I'm going to use this for right here.
Squatchy said Steve also makes things look way too easy. That is very true.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, that's kind of the key to when you're a professional. You know, and it's just, you start to be able to make it look easy. And I'll tell you the trick to that. The hardest part is teaching it. So you get good enough to do it to make it look easy. But then teaching it and explaining as you go is a whole other animal. Alright, so see what I'm doing here. Where it's dark, don't blast it in here. See how light I'm spraying? Very light. It's just for registration. Okay? It's just for registration so I can freehand and soften everything up. So watch, now that's there. And see that? That gives you the shape of the pants and his buttocks.
Oh.
Do you see how that works?
No, Green's Camaro. Oh, I forget who it is.
The original film
was in color, but we mostly see the black and white version because that's how it was distributed in the newsreels.
Huh.
That's pretty cool.
Alright, Gary. We're going to talk... Green Camaro Gary, not Gary Sheets. We're going to talk before next week's feed completion. We're going to come up with...
Fun facts.
Some fun facts. We're going to do some giveaways.
Can I say them? You know how much I love
Yeah,
fun
so
facts.
we're going to do some fun facts. I'm going to do some giveaways. Maybe we'll get some paint companies involved and do some sponsors, do some giveaways for next week. Some little stuff. And maybe I'll give away a pocket graphics. And we'll do a bunch of stuff. So Gary, me and you need to talk. We need to come up with like 4 or 5 interesting facts for next week. And maybe give away some free shit. Alright, so now you can see that worked out really good. You can see all the registration and his legs and what everything is. And now by doing that, so now I can freehand.
Ooh. Chaotic Concepts asked, do you ever just have an idea, pick up an airbrush and go for it?
Yes. Yes. That's usually my more demonic, skull, demon, weird, funky kind of stuff that I do that with. Or koi fish, like Japanese koi, tattoo style. That stuff I can kind of just ad-lib off the top of my head.
I do that mostly too.
So, and I've done a few live feeds of that where I just can do that stuff. Obviously, something like this takes a lot more planning. But yeah, man, I love just sitting there and just taking an airbrush and like doing images. See, now I can go back in. I can line this back up. Make it darker there. Make it darker here.
Oh, Gerald still needs his pocket graphics.
Oh, Gerald, thank you very much. I'm glad they come in handy. You still use them. You have the newer set, right? We finally got you one. I mean, as opposed to the really old set in the blue case, you have the metal case ones. If not, you need to let me know because we
I thought you were saying he still needs you to send it to him.
Oh wait a minute, Oh, Gerald messaged me after on my Facebook with your address, and I will get you those out next week. Because if anyone should have them and can utilize them, it is you.
Just want to let you know the disc for the recording is starting to get low on space. That's why it's flashing, I believe.
No, it's doing a weird flash thing, but it's still got.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Drive 1 is just flashing.
Yeah, that's kind of a new thing it's been doing. I don't know why.
That's annoying, man.
Alright, so there's a seam in the pant leg. We're just going to freehand that right across. And there we go.
Yeah, no, Gerald never got them.
Gerald, message me your address, and I will get those out to you the first week. Or tomorrow. And I'll make sure you get them. Alright, so I don't want to go too far on him. We'll make sure we get the dark up in here. I'm going to pull his jacket and helmet, and we will get those toned in. Alright, so we have him. Let's go back to our file here. And now we will cut the next part. You can do as little or as much as this as you want. Or on the next character, I will show you how to do, not character, the next soldier, sorry about that. I will show you how to do a pencil transfer and transfer some of the lines in pencil and then just freehand. No, I want to send you a set because I actually have one aside and I gotta, yeah. I got you. That's something I meant to send out a long time ago and just totally slipped my mind. Okay, so here we go. That's going to get the darkest. And again, I'm not just flooding paint in there. So, Michael, yes, if I was working this a lot bigger, I would put fabric texture in. So if I was, making this probably about 4 times bigger, I would start adding fabric texture in by utilizing stencils or different ways of doing texturing effects. At this scale, you wouldn't see the texture, so adding it in would actually be more distracting. Because it would be it'd be too big. But now there's enough data here for me to extrapolate the rest or kind of do my own thing. And I'll tighten things up along the way. But you can see now I have a really good idea of this soldier's position, where he's at on the kind of scale, the shading. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to go through and get each character to this level before I start going in for all the really details, because I really want to do things. I want to get kind of all the tonal done evenly across the piece. And then, as I start going in for details, all the detail starts going across each soldier. And you kind of become, I don't want to say machine-like, but you have a rhythm to it. That way the continuity works through the whole piece. So I got him to this level. I'm going to get this jacket to the same here in the pants. And then I'll start doing that to each character. And we'll probably end up doing that in the next videos. I'll do a little bit more on him and maybe start the next one and see how this one's, everything's there, but the details aren't, but the structure is. The structure of the shape and tone and everything where he is, and that's the most important thing to get through. And then we get that all out, and then when we go to detail, everything will just come together like that really fast. And like we were talking about earlier, by doing that, you can get continuity across the whole piece, but if you mess something up, it's easier to fix if they're all in this level than if I did one character fully and then I start doing this character and I mess him up. When I got to go back and get him back to full. But if I'm doing it all kind of mid, if I make a mistake in the mid, it's easier to fix the mid and kind of work your way up through the whole piece. So that's kind of why I like doing it this way when I use a mask, because I have that comfort zone, I have that buffer where I can just do a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I have the same image. I wonder if I have a... Oh, you know what? I have this one here. So see how this one I can see these folds, which are a little bit more... I want to say it. They're the next level. I'm going to hit those. And I think then we're going to call it for the evening. We'll see how that looks, and we'll go from there. Because I know they're going to line up. Let me see if we can give you guys a better angle on that. So see what I'm doing here if you look, or if you were to look in the photo itself, which is... Kaylee, can you grab that for me, please? So even the photo, if you just work from the photo itself, as opposed to when I block, you can see I did these darker areas. Now I kind of want to do these folds. So if you're working from the photo, you know, you would cut these out in this shape. Exactly. But you don't want to get too, you don't want to do all your details now. You want to save those. It's the icing on the cake, right? And that's what you want. That, you know, the final details. So now I'm just going to cut. And I wish I could use, man, I'm going to try. I'm not as good with this thing. We got a swivel blade. Gerald's good with these things. I'm not as good with these. I want to force it too much. It's definitely something I'd like to practice with more. Because it's basically like having a freehand plotter. But I'm just not as good with them. It's definitely something, and my blades aren't as good. Yeah, the swivel knives are great. I don't have the knack with them. Like, I'm so comfortable with these blades. It's definitely something I got to practice with some more. Do you use the swivel blades a lot, Gerald? Or like just kind of once in a while? Or is that your go-to? Yeah. Let's see what we got here. I'm Scottish. We're good with knives too. Just usually bigger ones. But yeah, the swivel blades is definitely something I gotta mess with some more. With all my free time. Alright. So again, I just did a little bit. We can line that up. That's just a little bit more than what was there. And just a little. That's it. Just a little bit. But that little bit is enough to now be able to know where those major folds are. So now I'm going to put a little bit of green tone on it. You know what I'm going to do, because it'll work, the camo on his helmet, easy with a little Gerald Mendez texture effects. So now that's kind of here. Registration there. You can actually see his belt loops through here. And you can see that's kind of the start of it. That's really a good place to kind of stop, I think, and just kind of show you how this works. And now this was paper cut. We're going to continue this technique through the piece. So for any of you who want to, anyone who want to follow along with this piece, I don't think we'll be able to work on it this weekend. I'll let everyone know before we do the next session, but we will pick this up next Thursday. So if you want to go to mackayfineart.com, the link is in the description on the YouTube channel, and you could get to this point. Size, this is a 12 by 14 inch panel. The file itself for the square border, I messed up, is actually 12 by 15. But there's plenty of room. It's just it to be an extra inch of sky, so you can do it however you want. You could get to this point, and then I'm going to continue the rest, and we're going to finish this off in the next part. And we're going to be recording all this. We're going to edit this down for later videos and add in some graphics and stuff like that. And we'll add in some trivia next week. I think it'll be really, really cool. But I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the Iwo-Jima Memorial piece. I hope everyone has a nice, happy, and healthy, safe Memorial Day weekend. Definitely go out, and if you see a soldier, see someone serve, thank them for everything. And don't forget what this long weekend is about. It's not just about sitting by the pool, drinking some beers. It's Memorial Day weekend, and I want to honor that by doing this. And like I said, with that honor, if you go on to mackayfineart.com and download this or any other vector file. All my vector files this weekend are 25 off. So the Pattern Collection, 25 off. The Grim Reaper, 25 off. To stay with the Memorial Day, you could go in the whole Battlefield Cross and bonus image file section, 25% off. This is the weekend you want to buy any vectors you can. You'll save the most you're going to get probably for the summer. I don't have anything planned that's major. So I would take advantage of it. That goes till Monday at midnight. And I hope some of you guys pick this up and get prepped and maybe follow along next week. And if you are doing it and you get stuck or you want to talk more about the paint, message me over on Instagram or Facebook, and or just put something in the comments below this video and we'll talk about it. Remember, the colors we used were moss green, and I added a little bit illustration moss green, illustration black added into that. I did tweak a little bit of Vile Green into it from the Tim Gore Bloodline, but it's not necessary. That's all I've used so far. And then I'm going to do a white mixed with the moss green and a little bit of black just as a highlight tone if I need it. But that's it. I've only used these 2 colors, and I've done most of it through the Eclipse. So if you've enjoyed it, definitely share it, tell people about it, subscribe, all that fun stuff that helps build this channel. I want to thank everyone for the super chats. Thank everyone who bid. Thank you, Gary, for the bid. We're going to hold that over to the end. And I want everyone to have a happy and healthy and safe weekend. Peace. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Thank you.